Hello and welcome back to episode 21 of my AllTheMods10 SSP playthrough. In this episode, I would like to dedicate it to making a more appropriate, pattern provider. So it is technically called the assembler matrix here. And with this, we can have a lot more room in space for the pattern providers, as well as it is going to be a lot faster than whatever this is, the flower. Yes, the flower. It's going to be a lot faster than the flower. So we are going to want to autocraft this because I would like to make the max. I think the max is a 7x7. If we read here, yes, between 3x3 and 7x7, it is a rectangular prism. So we are going to want to go ahead and make the 7x7. In order to do that, though, we have almost all of the crafting ingredients, though we do need to teach our system how to make the entro infused ingots. So with our entro essence, with our entro seeds, we have taught it to make the entro crystals, but not the ingots yet. So we are going to want to come over here to our crusher and go ahead and place the crushed, not essence, but the crushed entro dust into here, which is again just the entro crystal being crushed into entro dust. And then in order to make the ingot itself, we can do this in a couple of different ways. We've previously used the in-world transformation. We can use a crystal assembler with some water, which is just 4 at a time, which we might switch to in the future. But for the time being, since we already have a reaction chamber set up with water, I am going to use this way. So I went ahead and made the crafting pattern, so we should be all good to go for the ingots themselves. Then we're going to want to teach our system how to make the extended machine frame, which is just a crafting recipe, and the assembler matrix walls as well. And then we're going to want to teach it. There are 3 separate parts to this matrix. There is the pattern core, the craft core, and the speed core. So with the speed core, as you can probably tell, it is how fast your thing can craft it. It's basically like an acceleration card. You can only place a maximum of 5 of these speed cores in your assembler, no matter the size. So what we are going to do, and this is part of the reason why I went ahead and got the matter balls and also the dye essence, is I am quickly here just going to teach our system basically how to craft all the dye, how to craft the red paint, and then how to craft the paint balls, because we are going to need all 3 different colors. We're going to need purple, we're going to need blue, and we're going to need red of all 3, but it's basically the same method to craft each and every one. Just the glowstone in the middle with the paint balls to make the lumen paint balls, and then to make the purple balls just the matter balls, or to make the colored paint balls just the matter balls surrounding the specific dye. So again, just going to go ahead and teach our system how to make all of these, and we'll be back when it's done. And before we go, I did actually, now is a good time to, actually demonstrate this. So we were about to make the purple dye. I don't think we've ever come across this before in auto crafting. I think we previously came across this in like our regular crafting, but we're trying to make the purple dye. We don't want the spring green dye or whatever that is. So if you see these 2 arrows pop up here, just make sure you click on them, change it over to the purple dye, and you can go ahead and get the craft that you want. So again, we'll be back once I craft all of these dyes and assembler matrix parts, and we'll be back when it's ready. So we went ahead and taught our system how to make all of the assembler things. We did need to teach it how to make the extended molecular assembler, as I believe one of these, I forget which one. Yes, the craft core did require them, but they're all made in the crystal assembler. So are these extended molecular assemblers. So we just placed the rest, just everything in the current crystal assembler we had because it doesn't require liquid. But we went ahead and cleared out a little area here, and so I am going to go ahead and make, I believe I need, and I might be wrong, but 68 of these frames here. So again, we do want to make the 7 by 7, and I think we're going to need 68 of these. I'm going to go ahead and just make the 5 speed cores whenever these are done. And let's go ahead and make the 5 speed cores, because again, we're not going to need any more than that. So we'll go ahead and start building here. So in order to build this, we do need the frames. So they kind of frame the 7 by 7 by 7, and then in between all of them for the walls, we're going to need the assembler matrix walls. I forget how many of the walls that we need. I'll do some calculations shortly, but we'll go ahead and just start placing these 7 at a time. So for a 7 by 7, it looks like we need 150 matrix walls. So I think we already have one. Yeah, we're gonna just need to go ahead and craft all 150 of those. And I think for the interior, we're also going to need 150 blocks. So 5 of those, again, are going to be the speed cores. I went ahead and crafted those. And then 72 are going to be the craft cores. And then 73 are going to be the pattern cores. I do want an extra pattern core because, well, I want to hold a few extra patterns. If we do exceed this one, though, we might need a second one at one point, but that will come for a while later. I'm definitely going to show you just how big and how massive or how many this can hold. If we do a little bit of reading, we can see here that the pattern core is the one that can hold patterns, and the craft core will be the one assigning the received crafting jobs to the craft core. So each craft core can run 8 crafting jobs at the same time. So the more you have, the more crafting jobs you can do, essentially. So we are going to go ahead and build this up. I went ahead and got all 150 of the walls here, and we'll just go ahead and fill this out from top to bottom. And then we'll go ahead and put our speed cores in. Now, I just wanted a roughly even amount of the craft and the pattern cores. I personally like it being even, but theoretically you can, have as much of one or as little as the other as you want. It doesn't particularly matter. This is just the way that I like to go about doing things here. It actually does look like my calculations were a little bit off here. Looks like I made a few more of these pattern and craft cores. That is a-okay. Again, we're going to do as even of an amount as possible with just one more pattern than the craft core. The order of which you place them does not matter. And so just as long as you make sure that it is filled. We'll go ahead and for now just run a channel. It does need to be connected to a channel here. And as you can see, if we build a proper structure, the outlines will be kind of blue and glowing, and then you can come into here and actually open it. So if we break this just for an example, if we don't have one, I'm pretty sure it won't work. Where'd it go? There it went. Yeah, it's not even letting me, place. It's not letting me place that at all. That's so weird. Okay, let me shift click. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't letting me place normally. I think I honestly don't know why, but you can see if I just remove one of the blocks from here and I shift click this, the cable doesn't connect. So yeah, it does have to be completely full. And we'll go ahead and place that pattern core, place this back. We can see it connects. And if we come back to our pattern station, we can come here and see the assembler matrix pattern. And oh my goodness, look at how many patterns this thing can hold. A lot more than the measly 32 we previously had. This is also going to be a lot faster than previously. So let's go ahead, for example sake. let's go ahead and craft up an Insanium essence. We can see here that the crafting time, it's going, but it kind of balanced out at like 17 seconds here, and so we'll let that one run to completion because I don't want to tamper with the results. And so we're just about done here, and you can kind of see how, well, not really quickly, but how slowly it was going. Now let's go ahead and move those, scroll all the way down, move all of the essence patterns over into our assembler matrix. And now if we request an Insanium and we go ahead and take a look, it is going to be quite a bit faster. So just for a better comparison, because I believe the previous one was still at like, X amount of seconds. If we go ahead and request 10 here, I went ahead and placed them back in the regular mode. I do want to select the CPU that it is using. So the coprocessor 16, the biggest one that we have. If we come in here, 10 of them is going to take about 4 minutes and 10-ish seconds. It's kind of bouncing in between there, going and going and going. We'll go ahead and cancel and then remove them back over to the assembly matrix. And now if we request 10 and we select the crafting CPU number 1, we can go here and see it is almost halved. Not quite halved. It's sitting at around like 245. It's settled at 245 as compared to the 410. So it is decently faster, which is going to be super helpful, and it is a lot more space as well. And now with that done and out of the way, I do want to work a little bit towards getting some renewable nether stars. And so with that, I am going to get another mob swab. I do want to get a hold of some wither skeletons. We might not need the mob swab, but what I am going to do is go to, and I don't know if I have this auto-crafted yet, but go over to hostile neural networks and get another model framework. The reason why we are doing this is because the wither prediction will, not the wither skeleton prediction will give us wither skeleton skulls. So there are a couple ways you can go about getting this. You can create the skulls from the skeleton essence from Mystical Agriculture. Same thing with the blank skull base. You do the wither ribs around the skeleton skull itself, or the skull fragments, or the wither skull chip from productive bees from a withered bee, or from some of the wither drops from the withering soul. You can make some wither skeletons. In my opinion, the most effective way to at least kind of set and forget, at least at our time, is going to be through hostile neural networks, because we would have to get a little bit into productive bees in order to make this work, which, again, we will in the future. We'll probably make one of these withered bees as well. But for at least the time being, I do want to get a data model for the wither skeleton. So as we're over here in the nether looking for some wither skeletons, I do want to note we're not going to be too picky at this time on, what we're putting in the flower. So we still are keeping the flower, but what we're putting into the matrix or into the flower, I do want to fill that out mostly for like the more unimportant crafts, because it is still space. So we won't be getting rid of that quite yet, though technically you absolutely could get rid of it if you wanted to. You don't have to keep that one. But we are keeping it for now, and we're not going to be switching everything over, but we are going to keep all of the essences and any of kind of the higher time crafting recipes in the assembler matrix, just to save on a little bit of time. But I'm just going to keep looking for some wither skeletons to fill out this data model to basic, and we'll be back when we're done. And just one more time for fun here.
Happy birthday, Jocko!
Yes, happy birthday. So because we do have, we did find enough wither skeletons to make an advanced data model, we are not going to actually be using the spawner at this time, but I do want to just get it set up in case we do need it in the future. It's always good to have. So we'll go ahead and let this run for a little bit, hopefully get some predictions, get some wither skeletons. And we'll go ahead and right-click the spawn egg on the spawner here to change it to a wither skeleton spawner. And make sure you mine it with the silk touch so you don't destroy it or turn it into a broken spawner. And now that we got some rewards, let's go ahead and start working towards getting the Wither Builder. So in order to get the Wither Builder, we are going to need a Supreme Machine Frame. We have not made one of those yet. And in order to get that, we are going to need some ether gas. We do know how to make the advanced machine frame. We know how to make the plastic netherite. Everything else, the only thing that is missing is the ether gas. We're also going to need another star, so we are going to need to actually kill the wither itself. But in order to get the ether gas, we basically need a fluid or a laser drill with a purple laser lens on top of the wither. And it's going to produce 10 millibuckets of ether gas. We can also inevitably, obviously, everything's with productive bees. So we can get a bucket of ether gas and turn a pink slime bee into an ether bee, and that comes from a slime bee, which is it's one of the base bees from the slimy nest. So we will get there eventually. I think sooner rather than later we're going to do productive bees. That honestly might be next episode. But we do want a stasis chamber as well. Aha, here we go. And that is just going to be one of the advanced machine frames, some gas tiers, and some soul sand. And this is essentially to freeze the wither. We are also going to want some wither proof blocks, and those are from Mystical Agriculture here. And we can just make those by some soul stone, which again comes from the cobbled soul stone, and some wither skeleton essence. So those wither skeleton seeds that we got a while ago from a quest reward, those are going to be helpful, and that's why we have been building and saving them up here just so we can easily get these. And we're going to put all of this kind of right back over here. I plan on expanding this wall out a little bit in the center here and making the witherproof chamber in there. And as we're working towards the Wither Builder with the ether gas and everything going on, I do want to work towards two things at once. I do want to work towards the Awakened Supremium Essence from Mystical Agriculture as well. So if you take a look at the quest book here, it's basically, after Supremium, it breaks off into two tiers: the Insanium route, which you can get the Creative Essence from, or the Awakened route. And this is going to be what I want to work towards. So from the Wither, you can get Cognizant Dust. And in order to get that, if you read here, you need to kill the Wither or the Ender Dragon with a enchanted weapon enchanted with Mystical Enlightenment. In order to get the Mystical Enlightenment enchantment, we do need to craft it with some Supremium Essence, some Experience Essence with a book with the Enchanter from Mystical Agriculture. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this. We don't have a lot of Experience Essence. We did get Experience Seeds as a quest reward, and so we are just going to go ahead and let that run in the background again, just as we are working towards getting the rest of the stuff. But let's go ahead and get as many witherproof blocks as possible. Looks like we can get almost 2 stacks. We might need a little bit more than that. I'll deal with that when we get there. But let's go ahead and request an advanced machine frame and craft up the stasis chamber as well. And there we go. We got the stasis chamber. So I'll just place this down and show you. It does require power. It requires a decent amount of power. But essentially, once this is powered and it is working, it'll freeze anything, including yourself, in the little area that you set it to be. So we can go and basically freeze the wither in place while we have the laser drill running above it. And we can just constantly collect ether from it. And let's also go ahead and get the laser drill. We are going to need 4 of these guys. I need to make another diamond gear. I might need 2 more diamond gears, honestly. We'll go ahead and get the laser drill and the laser base here. And if we take a look in the quest book here, there is also a ore laser base, which you can use to mine ores, but we will need specifically the fluid laser base because we are wanting that ether gas. And so we do need to make the purple laser lens, and good thing we already taught our system how to make the purple dye. And so we can go ahead and collect this quest reward. I do also want the ore laser base as well, just to complete the quest, because as you can see, we do have a 6.45% chance of getting an ether gas bucket as a reward, and that will actually be really, really fantastic, so that we don't, it will be much easier to start off with. Looks like no such luck. We did get our advanced machine frame back though, which is great, but we are gonna have to do this kind of the old-fashioned way. So we can go ahead and we're going to need to build the wither manually, but I will want to, again, surround this with the witherproof blocks. So I went ahead and dug out just a little 3x3x4 area here, surrounding it with the witherproof blocks. Now, this is what I typically like to do. I just like to make it a 1x1 hole, just so there's absolutely no chance that the wither can come out of here. And so we are going to need some soul sand, and let's see here. What I do want to do, I kind of want to go ahead and get this set up here. So we're going to need the fluid laser base set up here with a depth. Yeah, the depth should be fine with that. We're going to need to put the purple laser in there, and then we're going to just put the 4 laser drills surrounding it. And let's see, yes, perfect, there we go. So these should all be working. Target, you can see the target is negative 136, 53, 648. 53, 648, and then 136. Yes, so all of them have found their targets besides for that one. Let me see. Let me try shift clicking it here. Let's see if it found its target. Yes, perfect. And so we will need, I don't know if we need this. I think if the wither is underneath, it will be fine. We might need to change the depth though. But all these machines do require power. We will be powering them in a little bit, not at the time being though, because I do want to have our first real wither fight. We're not going to do this with the like magical essence, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Let's go ahead and muffle the wither as well. The ambient, we'll just muffle everything. And that didn't seem like it worked because I could still hear it. But we will, again, cheese this a little bit. I thought I could muffle the wither. That is loud. Let me try to, here we go. Okay. So it looks like that kind of works. No, I can very much still hear explosions. Maybe that's the TNT explosion, generic explosion. Would that work? Yes, okay, that looks like it works. Yes, it does. Okay, so we'll go ahead and kill him there. Perfect. Quest complete, kill the wither. Awesome. Not very manly, but we made it work. Let's go ahead and just collect that quest reward. See what we get. Got some redstone and some nether quartz. More importantly, though, we did get another wither star. Awesome. So now I do want to work on getting power over here so that we can place our stasis chamber down here. And if we show the working area, yes, as you can see, our field of view is now really, really small. Okay. Glad we got out of there. So if we walk in here, we are, I'm pressing the W key here. We are literally frozen. We can still fly though, which is really the only reason why we are able to move. Regardless though, if you don't have a jetpack or anything like that, if it runs out, you can just turn this off essentially or break it and it will turn off. You'll be able to move. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. In your playthrough, if you do get stuck, not a problem. But I do want to run power up to the top here too, if I can hit that block. Perfect. And before we place the power, I am going to want to redstone control all of these because we don't want these constantly running. And I don't want the stasis chamber to be constantly running either. It's just going to eat up a lot of power, especially when we don't need it or we're not using it. And so let me pipe this properly here. And we are going to just have all these set to insert because we are inserting the redstone signal into all of them, and then we're going to turn them to run with an active redstone signal. And we're going to come down to the bottom and do the exact same thing. Now, if I were recommending if you're using these conduit bundles here, then I would recommend you doing those first before you do anything else, actually, just because if you don't, then there is a chance that you're not going to be able to properly connect it to the appropriate surface. So if I destroy the redstone conduit here, but then I place it back down, it's it doesn't have its own separate thing, so you might run into a little bit of issues with trying to disconnect the power. Now the power's off, and yeah, now you're doing all that with the wires and all that stuff. So yeah, just do the redstone first. Make sure you connect it with a wrench. We'll go ahead and reset this to insert, and then connect whatever other cables you're wanting. So again, just recommend starting with the redstone conduit. And if we grab a lever here and flip this on, we should actually see that this is now working, the stasis chamber. And if we come up here, we should see that if we come up the other way, we should see that the laser drills here are now working. And so let's go ahead and return this off. And if we come in here and build yet another wither, and just make sure as well your base is chunk loaded, because we don't want the wither blowing up anything important either around the witherproof blocks. I believe it still can't, even if it is chunk loaded. Again, I just recommend that you have that. And we'll go ahead and turn this on. And as we turn this on, we see that the bar stops loading. So he is frozen there. So he will not even explode, but these should be working. And let me we might have to, I think the depth is 48. So we will change this to 48, not 481, 48. And we should see this getting to run. Okay, so I did make one more mistake. I made it one too high. So if you show the working area of these laser drills, technically they don't have to be directly beside the fluid laser base. They can be one block away, and we can have more than 4. So if we want to put one back here or multiple back here just to make the production a little bit faster, that is also perfectly fine. Just make sure that the fluid laser base is in the working area, and that the wither itself is in the working area as well. So if we show this working area, we can see that the fluid laser base is in the area, and now the wither's head is just barely in the area. So we did need to lower all of these by 1. But so if we hide, that drill should be good, and this one should be good as well. Perfect. So yeah, I'm basically just going to reset everything to make it be 1 lower for the both, and again, do the redstone first. But yeah, so I made it accidentally 1 too high. I kind of forgot about that, unfortunately. But so yeah, let's go ahead and just redo everything, run with redstone signal. And all of these machines can also be upgraded with the speed, efficiency, and processing tiers. So we can make this go just that much faster. Again, we're going to be sticking with tier 3 for the time being. But as you can see, this is working much, much more faster now. And we are also going to come in the middle here. And this is why I absolutely love Ender IO is just how compact you can make things. And we are going to make a couple of Ender tanks, and let's go with some cyan dye for, it's kind of the color of the ether gas, right? Yeah, a little bit cyan, maybe more light blue. I don't know. I'm going to go with cyan. But we'll go ahead and, again, color code all of these Ender tanks here, and we will place the first one here on the top, and we are going to set the bottom to extract on green, always active, and to insert on green. So now we should have, yes, a full bucket's worth of ether gas. Let's go ahead and collect that just for the quest reward. And if we take the other over here, and I will put it, I'm going to put it underneath of here. Just right here, and we will tell this to insert or to extract on the cyan here and to insert on the cyan. So want to make sure you change that color before activating the insert. Now this one should be filling up with all the ether gas. We got about a 16 buckets worth of buffer along with the 32 buckets of internal buffer here. So I am just going to let this run for a little while before we get started with the Wither Builder. So we've gone ahead and let everything run. We did get some more experience essence, and so we're just going to try to get the absolute max one. Yeah, Mystical Enlightenment 5 looks like to be the max, and so yeah, you can just shift click the experience into here with the Supremium. If we put another book, we could get another one, but one is good for now. I am also going to want to make another diamond sword. We are going to, again, upgrade this to AllTheMods10, and because I do want a separate one, that is not this one, because sometimes when I'm killing the Wither, I might not want the, the Awakened Supremium Essence. So we're just going to go ahead and upgrade this to another AllTheMods10 sword. And I lied. So not in AllTheMods10 sword. If we press U on this Mystical Enlightenment, the only things that we can use it on are actually Mystical Agriculture weapons and tools. So I am going to go ahead and make yet another diamond sword. Wasted a little bit of resources there, but it's okay. But we are going to go all the way up to a Supremium sword here. Went ahead and got all of the ingredients. I also went ahead and made a sharpness 6 book, so went ahead and made a couple of sharpness 4s or sharpness 5s with the enchanter from Ender IO, so just some quartz and some lapis instead of going through the Mystical Agriculture way. And now with these, we will go ahead and place, yes, this on here, and go ahead and place the sharpness on. And if we come back down here, we have been waiting a little while, so we should have a decent amount of ether gas stored up. It actually might be even full at this point. Oh, it's almost full. So we are going to go ahead, turn this off, and let this guy go. And he is good now, so we'll go ahead and just hit him a handful of times. Ooh, ouch, ouch. With our new sword here, and oh my goodness, I need some augments for this so bad. We will be getting into augments for this because I do want to, now that we're getting into this, I might want to get a new form of flight as well. So we will be getting into Mystical Agriculture augments sometime in the future, and perfect. So we killed him again. We got some of, honestly, I'm just going to toss this. I don't really mess with this mod all too much, so I never really use them, but we did get 8 Cognizant Dust. And what we will be doing not in this episode, because we are starting to run out of time here. I do want to stay focused, a little bit focused, but we did want to go ahead and get that, and go ahead and again turn this off so that we're not wasting a ton of energy. And so I think that is about all that we had time for this episode. We got a lot of good things done here, but so in the next episode, we'll look more into using the Wither Builder for automating the killing the Wither. and we will also probably work more towards productive bees. I haven't made up on my mind on that yet, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one.